Hello everybody, today here we are talking about the Nashville Predators. Before we start, please make sure to like and subscribe. Now let's do it. So, Nashville is a team that I said last season probably needed to do a rebuild the most out of any team in the league that wasn't already doing one. And it's not that they don't have talent, in fact they've got multiple talented players. But I felt they weren't going anywhere. Is this year any different? Well, I look at last season, and I don't know if it changed my mind for this. They finished fourth in the division. They lost in the first round. But again, will what they've done in the offseason sway me? It depends on what they do as a team, as they made some major moves this offseason. The two major moves being trading Victor Arvidsson to the Kings and trading Ryan Ellis to the Flyers. So, I know some Preds fans will say Arvidsson wasn't playing that well the past 2 years, but what I will say is you are losing a middle six forward that has a good amount of offensive potential, and his cap hit is only $4.25 million at 28 years old. It's one of those deals where I think he had some potential that might have been untapped, and I don't really know how I feel about the trade because, you look at it and he got a second-round pick and a third-round pick for Arvidsson, but I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Arvidsson put up some good numbers when he went into LA, especially when they're bringing in their younger guys and they've got some pieces to look forward to. Then you have the Ryan Ellis trade, and wow, you look at this, and they get Cody Glass and they get Philip Myers for Ryan Ellis. Kind of had some moves around with Vegas, all that good stuff there with Nolan Patrick. But I know what Nashville's thinking here. They think Glass is a great, exciting prospect, or at least that's how people view him. And then you have Myers, a promising young blue liner, and they probably have, the idea that Glass breaks out maybe in a middle six role, maybe in the top six role, or, they think Myers might be able to be the top pairing guy with Yossi as it looks right now. I get where they're coming here for this. But for Yossi, it is going to be an adjustment for him just because, you think back, and outside of goalies, nobody plays more minutes with him. That was his guy. That was their top pairing. And it's going to take some adjusting to get used to that. You're not going to have the same guy that you logged all those minutes with. Now, Myers is expected to be with Yossi on the first pairing, at least according to dailyfaceoff.com. And I do think that could unlock some things for him offensively, that being Myers. I'm not going to say it's a for sure thing, but, potentially this could still work out very well for them in terms of their blue line if Glass works out. It's one of those, though, that we have to wait and see. Did it all work out? Now, the problem is this isn't guaranteed to work out right away, especially for Cody Glass. He struggled in Vegas on the offensive end and defensively as well. I guess offensively, I should say. But I do think that, right away, these players might probably not match the production of those former Predators, which is why it's really hard for them stepping forward, because even if you look at, these guys, if they match that production, the Preds' past few seasons haven't exactly been great. They've been average, which is where you don't want to be in sports unless you're going up. And I'm not completely sold just yet. It has been a tough 2 years for the franchise. They got beat by the Coyotes in the qualifying round and then lost in 6 to the Hurricanes this year. Look, I know that they did make this push against the Hurricanes and they did go to 4 overtime games, but my argument here is Carolina had some games where they beat up on Nashville. And I think that I just look at it as Nashville really relied on overtime to try to win that series, but going forward, had they beat Carolina, I just couldn't see them, really doing that with another team. And, this leads me to believe that if they played those better teams, the result would have been the same as what happened against Carolina, just a little bit later. Now, the Central Division will be a dogfight for second and third guaranteed, as this playoff spot is not locked up for Nashville. They are not favorites to make it in that division, at least for a betting odd, and it is understandable with the roster they have, as they could miss out on any postseason aspirations that they have for the first time since the 2013-14 season. Which leads to the last topic, which it seems like blasphemy, but could David Poile be a little worried? Because, you're looking at these past few years and you're saying, hey, last season people thought he might be on the hot seat, and again, it is another disappointing season. I don't know. And that is tough because David has been the only GM in Smashville's history dating all the way back to their inaugural season in 1998. And he has certainly guided the team to be a stable franchise that makes it to the playoffs, that has shown they can go on a deep run. They went to the 2017 Stanley Cup Finals. And it doesn't have a lot of turnover. They haven't had a ton of head coaches. They haven't had any other GM beside Poyle right there. But I think management could be wearing thin with him because they want the franchise to go in the right direction, and maybe people feel like it's stuck right now. Now, Poyle could be safe after this season, but I think it's going to be if he picks a direction for the team. If he decides to bolster up and try to make a run, I think it's safe. But if he sticks to what he's doing right now, this is not going to work, probably. Again, maybe the guys fill out their shoes or their roles a little bit more than we're expecting them to, but I just couldn't see the organization being happy treading water and hoping to make the playoffs every year as a lower seed. You just don't see that in pro sports. Now, I do think that it's really going to depend on this season and how he responds. Is he going to make a push or is he going to rebuild? And what do they think about that? Now, I'm going to say this. Depending on who's the GM in Nashville at the end of this season, I think they start a rebuild. But maybe I'm crazy. What do you think? Where do you think that the Predators franchise is headed? Let me know down below. Again, please make sure to like and subscribe. Everybody stay safe. Have a great day. And you go love hockey, all right? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.